The guest as well. We're going to cross to Orange, California. We're going to talk to Lori COX HAN, Professor of Political Science at Chapman University. She's written a series of books on American politics, including being co-editor of the book Rethinking Madam President. Are we ready for a woman in the White House? Thanks very much for joining us on the programme. I'm sure you were hearing all of that. I mean, from where you are in California, Bernie Sanders certainly out in top. We've only got 10% of the results reported so far, but he's on about 28%. I mean, Bernie Sanders, let's not write him off. He's still doing pretty well, particularly in Texas and California.
Right, and thanks for having me on. So California and Texas are the big prizes, and no matter who wins Texas, it's going to be very close. There are a lot of delegates that are going to go to Bernie Sanders from those two states. So what we may have at the end of the evening is very close to a tie in the delegate count. But with Mike Bloomberg and some of the other candidates who've still earned delegates, that may mean we're just headed to a contested convention come this summer. So, you know, Biden or Sanders could have a plurality of the votes, but it might not be decided outright before we get there. And so that's really going to cause some problems for the Democratic Party.
As I mentioned at the top there, you've written this book specifically about women in politics. Let's talk about Elizabeth Warren. I mean, she was the only real female candidate left. Let's just have, first of all, a quick listen to what she had to say.
Sure.
What I see happening is a lot of folks trying to turn voting into some complicated strategy. You know, pundits, friends, neighbors are all saying you have to second guess yourself on this. So here's my advice. Cast a vote that will make you proud. Cast a vote from your heart. And vote for the person you think will make the best president of the United States of America.
Elizabeth Warren there. Of course, 4 years ago didn't work out for Hillary Clinton, did it? I mean, we've had Amy Klobuchar pulling out. Elizabeth Warren may be considering her position now. I mean, do you think if the right candidate could be found by the Democrats, the US could be ready for a female president?
I think so, but this field, even though it was so amazing to have 6 women running at the very start of the Democratic primary contest, you know, we're down to 2 technically, but really Elizabeth Warren is the only one that's still earning any delegates tonight, and she really doesn't have a path forward. So what I have been saying, though, several times, and it bears repeating tonight, that in this political environment, if the Democratic Party does not have a woman on the ticket, then they perhaps deserve to lose, because that's a tone deafness that I think that key figures within the Democratic Party and certainly their constituents will not be happy about. So, you know, whether it's Sanders or Biden as the nominee, and right now those look like the 2 most viable options, you know, I would be surprised if they didn't pick a woman as a running mate. You've also got the age factor of really the 3 most viable candidates left on the Democratic side in terms of Sanders and Biden and Bloomberg. And, you know, Joe Biden's the youngest of the 3 at 76, you know. Sanders and Bloomberg are both 78. So I would think that Elizabeth Warren or Amy Klobuchar or possibly Kamala Harris, who's been out of the race for a while, would look at as very viable options for a vice president. And I think being a vice president could certainly open up the door to finally having the first woman president.
Lori COX HAN from Chapman University, thanks very much for being with us on the programme.